For this webinar, Dr. A.S. Jadhav, Principal, Devika Mohan Singh Ji Chauhan College of Commerce and Science, Silvassa, Dr. Dhaneshwari Shinde, Assistant Professor in the Department of Geography, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, Dr. Gadage sir, Head Department of Geography, all the faculty members from the Department of Geography, all the respected delegates and participants, friends. First of all, on behalf of Sadguru Maharaj College, Gadage and Autonomous College, in particular, Department of Geography and IQAC of this college, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you for this national webinar on impact of COVID-19 on human health in this pandemic situation. To start our proceedings, I request Dr. Gadage sir to speak a few words. Dr. Gadage sir.
Good morning, all of you. Myself, Dr. Rajendra Gadage, Head Department of Geography. Firstly, I am welcome all dignitaries and participants in this webinar. Department of Geography, well-established department in HM College, Karad, and started 1968. The PG degree department started by the 2030. I am express gratitude of Principal Dr. Mohan Rajmani Sahib to permit organize this webinar. Herewith, I am introducing keynote addresses and resource person of today's webinar. President of today's webinar, Dr. M.M. Rajmani Sahib, Principal, HM College, Karad. He is a dynamic personality and good administrator. He is working as a principal from last 16 years. Dr. Girish Kalyan Sethi is working as a IQAC coordinator in this college. Firstly, I am introduced here keynote addresser Professor Dr. Ambada Jadhav, presently working as a principal, Srimati Devkiba Mohanchand Chauhan College of Commerce and Science, Silvassa, Dadra and Haveli. Previously, he had worked as a head and professor of Department of Geography, University of Mumbai, as well as had worked as a director academic for administrative careers, University of Mumbai, coordinator Center for Geoinformatics, University of Mumbai. Also, he had worked as a reader in geography at Shivaji University, Kolhapur. He has more than 34 years teaching experience under his guidance. 8 students completed PhD degree and 5 students currently working. Sir had granted Junior Research Fellowship for MPhil and Senior Research Fellowship for PhD at JNU, New Delhi. Sir also received a British Council Visitor Fellowship, England, UK, and Dutch government travel grant, the Netherlands. Government of India overseas scholarship for doc research work at South Dakota State University, Brookings in USA. Dr. Dadav sir visited more than 6 countries and delivered more than 150 lectures as a research person. Then I am introduced here today's webinar resource person, Dr. Dhanasri Shinde, currently working as a assistant professor at Department of Geography, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. She completed her post-graduation and well as a PhD from Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Under her guidance, 2 students completed PhD research as well as 3 students are currently working. 1 book and more than 10 research papers are published by Shinde ma'am. Lastly, and thanks to help us to this webinar, dignitaries of samsthas, patrons of samsthas, then principal of this college, IQAC coordinator, Kalyan Sethi sir, Mahesh Gaikwad, librarian of this college, my staff, Dr. Samadhan Shinde, Dr. Vijay Kumar Jawan and Dr. Praveen Kavekar, helping to success this webinar, and the organizing committee, Vice Principal Dr. Professor Patil sir, S.A. Patil sir, and Sawan sir. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gadage sir. Before we proceed on to all other businesses of today's webinar, I would like to briefly introduce the great institution, the Red Shikshan Samstha, and Sadguru Gadage Maharaj College, Karad, and Autonomous College. Once again, it is indeed a pleasure for me to greet you at this very important event in the name of this webinar, this national webinar, organized by the Department of Geography in collaboration with Internal Quality Assurance Cell. I extend a very warm welcome to all of you. The college, that is Sadguru Gadage Maharaj College, Karad, an autonomous college, is governed by the Red Shikshan Samstha Satara. We, the people of Maharashtra, are quite fortunate to have been gifted with certain personalities who have changed the face of the society in different realms of life. In the field of education, there come many names that have really made Maharashtra very proud and that have transformed Maharashtra in many ways. So Red Shikshan Samstha Satara has been established by Padma Bhushan Dr. Karmavir Bharao Patil way back in 1919 at the village Kale in Karad district. This happens to be one of the biggest educational institutions in Asia. This institution offers education from pre-primary to higher education across pre-primary schools, primary schools, secondary schools, high schools, junior colleges, and senior colleges. The Sanstha runs 42 senior colleges. Among these 42 colleges, Sadguru Gadage Maharaj College is one of them. I am very happy to introduce my college to all of you. The college has been named after a celebrated saint of Maharashtra, Sant Gadage Baba. The college was established way back in June 1954 The college enjoys 2F and 12B status from University Grants Commission. The college has been located at the confluence of the holy rivers, the Krishna and Koyna. The college offers diversified programs in arts, commerce, science discipline. On the campus of the college, we have the provision of education from KG to PhD. More than 13,000 students are pursuing their education in junior as well as senior section of this college. The college is NAC A+ accredited college with 3.63 CGPA. And from June 2019 onwards, the college has been functioning as an autonomous college. The college has 24 departments which offers quality education to UG students as well as PG students. So with these words, I look forward to the proceedings of this webinar. I request our dynamic principal, Dr. Mohan Rajmani Sahib, to deliver the inaugural address. Dr. Mohan Rajmani Sahib.
Very good morning to one and all. I am Dr. Mohan Rajmani, Principal, Sadguru Gadage Maharaj College, Karar, District Satara, Maharashtra. Today's guest speaker, Principal Dr. A. Jadhav sir, Dr. Dhanasri Shinde madam, Dr. Gharge sir, Dr. Girish Kalyan Shetty sir, all the teaching faculty, all the delegate and friends. I am very happy to meet you at this online national webinar which is conducted on impact of COVID-19 on human health in pandemic period. First of all, I congratulate the Department of Geography and IQAC for organizing national level webinar on such topic. Friends, as we know, for the last couple of months, we have been facing a global pandemic called COVID-19. The whole world is affected by this. The COVID-19 pandemic is considered as the most crucial global health calamity of the century and the greatest challenge that the humankind faced since Second World War. In December 2019, a new infections, respiratory disease emerged in Wuhan, China, and was named by World Health Organization as COVID-19. A new class of coronavirus has been found to be responsible for occurrence of this disease. It has rapidly spread around the world, causing enormous health, economic, environmental, as well as social changes to entire human populations. The coronavirus outbreak is severely disturbing the global economy. Almost all the nations are struggling to slow down the transmission of this disease by testing and treating patients, quarantining suspected persons through contact tracing, restricting large gatherings, maintaining complete or partial lockdown, and so on. COVID-19 brought us similar physical and mental problems. There is a need of differentiation between mental problem caused by COVID-19 and the problem caused by lockdown. Today, the Department of Geography has organized a national level webinar on a very important issue. I am sure the deliberations in this webinar will help our students, teachers to gain understanding and knowledge about COVID-19 and the measures to cope up with coronavirus. Lastly, I wish you all the good luck for this webinar. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good morning all. Now I am requesting to Honorable Professor Dr. A.S. Jadhav sir, Principal Srimati Devkiba Mohan Singh Ji Chauhan College of Commerce and Science, Silvassa, to share a keynote address.
అయితే చేరడానికి మీరు ఆల్రెడీ
माइक अनम्यूट करो सर.
सर माइक अनम्यूट करा सर.
माइक अनम्यूट करा.
जाधव सर
आता ऐकायला येते ना?
हो येते.
माइक अनम्यूट करा.
येते.
So friends, I am very much thankful to the college for inviting me to deliver keynote address on this occasion, and in fact the topic is very relevant. I will just highlight few points about the health and the impact of COVID-19 on health. As you know, the WHO has defined health as a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being. See the three words: physical, mental and social well-being, and not merely the absence of the disease or infirmity. It means that if you want to see a healthy person, he should have a sound physical health as well as sound mind, and there should not be any disease, and the social ambience should be good. Then that person is healthy. It is as per the definition of the WHO, and it has been accepted over many countries. Now let us see why we need a better health. The better health is a central to the human happiness and well-being. If our health is good, we will be happy. So the happiness and well-being is linked with the better health. So that is a central point of everyone's life. We want to be happy in the life, and it also makes an important contribution to the economic progress. If the population is healthy, they will work and the economy will be better. So it is very important for the economic progress, as well as the healthy population lives for longer and are more productive and save more. If the population is healthy, that population is productive population, so the production increases, they stay long, and we have to spend very less amount on the health. That is why we need a sound health. And friends, although it may be tempting to quantify health by a single absolute standard, it is actually an accumulation of the factors that contribute to overall health. You cannot standardize on one point and say that this person is healthy. There are three key things that healthy people should do every day. The first thing is that the person should exercise daily, maintain the nutritious diet, and get the good night's sleep and good social ambience. If we are having these four things, then the person will be healthy. Now, why is the health most important part of our life? Our health is at the center of our life, every part of our life rallies on our having good health. Suppose I want to write a book, I should have a good health. If I want to climb a mountain, I should have a good health. So every part of the life rallies upon a good health. We cannot climb higher in all other 7 areas of our life if we do not have enough physical energy to devote to each of them. You take any person, if the person is not healthy, he cannot work properly. Now, let us see what has caused, how this COVID-19 has impacted the population or the health of the person. The first thing, it has been noted and it has been figured in many newspapers that if the person is having comorbidity, then those persons are more susceptible to the COVID-19. And more of the deaths registered comorbidity like blood pressure or sugar. If a person is suffering from blood pressure or the sugar, then that person gets affected with the COVID-19, and most of the patients are of comorbidity. And then in case of the children, it is found that most of the death cases, the children were having asthma. I mean, this asthma is very dangerous for children during this COVID-19. They simply attract the COVID-19 and succumbs to the COVID-19. And the third thing, that is the stress. And this stress is due to the losing jobs. We have heard that about 16 crore people, population has lost the job. And the recent survey yesterday, they have come up with the statistic that 27% population, working population of India is jobless due to the COVID-19. So, losing the job causes the stress, and that also creeps up the quarrels and tensions in the family. The divorce rate has been increased during the COVID because of these family tensions. Then the suicide rate. Many people, even having a good health, having a good economic condition, people are committing suicide because they cannot bear the stress. So that mental health is being affected. And the next thing, if the person loses the job, the purchasing power automatically comes down. So the poor purchasing power leads to the less demand of the things. So if there is a less demand, then there will be a cut in the production. Again, if there is a cut in the production, there will be less profit, and then less profit again will lead to the layoff of the laborers, workers, and then again purchasing power will be lower. So this is a vicious circle. And that vicious circle will lead to the recession. And if the recession increases, that will result into a depression. So, and to come out the recession, it takes 2-3 years. But to come out of the depression, it takes about a decade, 10 or 12 years to restore the economy to the state. So, means all over the world, the demand is very less. So, it may lead to the depression. And that depression again we call the stress. And this vicious cycle will continue. So, we have to break this vicious cycle somewhere. And friends, apart from that, we have witnessed migration. We have seen that many people are leaving Maharashtra, Gujarat, this industrial state, because the workers, the pull factor, many workers, they migrate to the area where they can get good wages or good salary. So now these people are going back. Now these people will take this corona with them, and they will cause the corona in that part, and it has already been caused. And again, we are finding the people are coming from that part because they are not getting jobs over there. So again they are coming to Mumbai. So this chain will continue. Now what I feel is that this migration should be stopped for some period so that this chain will break. Now we have seen one uh, incident. The people from the Jalna were traveling to the Nagpur along with the track, and this railway ran over the pedestrians and caused the death of 5 or 7 people. So when people are going to the native places, many accidents are also causing. So that is causing the death of the people. Then another thing, and very important thing, now most of the Asha workers, most of the buyers, they have lost their job. Now the pregnant women, they are not being given that food or that vitamin. In many states, it is found that the pregnant women are not being given vitamin like calcium tablets and so on. As well as breastfeeding women also, they are also not given this whatever they supposed to previously government used to give due to the lack of resources, because the resources have been diverted to the corona only. So there is a cut in case of that. The thing so the medication was given, therefore people they are suffering a lot, and it is causing their health. And the second thing is institutional deliveries. Now the patients are not needing the medical. So the rate of the institutional deliveries has been, drastically fallen down. Now the people are just saying that let us run delivery of home, and delivery at home is not very hygienic. So that also causes the problem, health problems. Then the next thing we have been witnessing. See, previously there used to be a regular immunization camps on the railway station, bus drivers, even on the school. During these 5 months, we have not seen any alternative or any immunization camp held at railway station or bus stand or school. Can you see the type of thing? Previously, we used to have a regular immunization camp for the children. So that has affected badly and it could result into the death of the children because they are not immunized properly. And the second next thing, what I have observed and you must also have observed, that since the schools are closed, there is no that midday meal scheme. So many private students who used to go to school because of that midday meal. When that midday meal scheme is completely stopped, so the colleges are closed. So the students will be undernourished. That's small for students. So the next one is gender discrimination. Since there is a social press, since the economic power has been lowered, so the soft talking is women or the girls. They are not given proper attention. For example, in case of the girl sanitation, now the people are not taking money on that one. Even for this one, serving the foods. The child, one child is distributed, among the females are distributed. And the last one, because of all these things, the social ambience has been disturbed. Now, as we have seen already, physical, mental, and social. These three are the major components of the healthy person. So the social crime must be increased. Also, we have been seeing that there are many people who are currently operating for lottery. And in the same way, with the social fabric, uh, on 10th of August, there is an article in the field by Unnati Sharma. And she says that with a surge in the unemployment rate and the fear of an uncertain future brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, many young Indians are turning to another means of making money, namely sugar dating. Now, this sugar dating has been increased in India, and the data is released by the sugar dating website app Seeking Arrangement. And that Seeking Arrangement website states that Mumbai is the hotbed for sugar dating in India, with 6,246 sugar babies and 21,469 sugar daddies. See the rate has been alarming, and followed by New Delhi. So the first is Mumbai, second is Delhi, and then third is Hyderabad. And even the small cities like this concept of the sugar dating is also popular to the cities like Pune, Ahmedabad, Chennai, Kolkata, Bangalore, Surat, and Jaipur. So, because of the this one, because of the workforce has not, they do not have the work, so they are seeking the other type of jobs like this sugar dating. So this is a very bad sign of the healthy society. So friends, these are the few items or the things I wanted to share with you. I think our next resource person, I am just inaugurating this one. So the next resource person will highlight in detail the impact of COVID-19 on the human health. So I declare this webinar as open and inaugurated. Thank you very much for inviting me to inaugurate this webinar. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable keynote address. Hope all the people would be understand the importance of our health and how to take care of ourselves. Thank you very much, sir. Now, may I request to resource person, Honorable Dr. Dhanasri Shinde Ma'am, Department of Geography, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, to give a valuable speech on the impact of COVID-19 on human health in pandemic period. Shinde Madam. Over to Shinde Madam. हेलो हेलो मैम, तुमचा आवाज येत नाही आहे मॅम. हेलो शिंदे मॅम. हेलो हेलो
आवाज येत ना.
शिंदे मॅम, तुमचा आवाज येत नाही आहे.
याला
हेलो हेलो मॅम.
हॅलो, आता आवाज येतोय?
हा येतोय. ओके ओके.
हा, ओके. Well, good morning, everybody. Firstly, I'd like to thank you for inviting me for this conference as a resource person. I'll be talking on the impact of COVID-19 on human health. So I'll start with the presentation.
The body alive, leading to septic shock. It occurs if the virus causes infection to one or both parties. Immune system, they are assembled, carried to the outers on plastic and sticks, causes high contagious respiratory disease that is characterized by symptoms of fever, cough, muscle. Impact of COVID-19 on human health. First, we'll see the concept of health, state of complete physical mental. One species known as SARS causes they are assembled, carry greater than 100.5
Some technical problem exists
like
here.
serious
One
heart
second.
conditions in women, people with that include the immune system spirals out of every corner of the body. This is a diagram showing coronavirus. Coronavirus is generally considered to contain two genera, coronavirus and torovirus, which differ in nucleocapsid morphology, coronavirus being helical and torovirus being tubular. Coronaviruses are important agents of gastrointestinal disease in humans, poultry, and bovines. In humans, a species known as SARS coronavirus or severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus causes a highly contagious respiratory disease that is characterized by symptoms of fever, cough, and muscle ache, often with progressive difficulty in breathing. Coronaviruses are a large family of viruses, but only 7 of its members infect humans. 4 types cause minor illnesses like the common cold, while other coronaviruses have triggered far more devastating impacts such as SARS, MERS, and now COVID-19. Coronaviruses can be zoonotic, that is, they jump from animals to humans. Like its relatives, COVID-19 is primarily a respiratory disease that starts in the lungs, causing pneumonia-like symptoms, but can also cast a storm across the entire body. How COVID spreads? It spreads primarily through small droplets, saliva or mucus that our infected person expels when they cough, sneeze or talk. These droplets can travel 3 to 6 feet and remain infectious for anywhere from 4 to 48 hours, depending on the surface. The virus lives longer on surfaces. Disinfectants that are at least 60% alcohol by volume can also kill the virus on plastic and stainless steel surfaces. It lasts for 72 hours on plastic and stainless steel. It can stay 24 hours on hardwood or 4 hours on copper. How it invades the body? Its spiky structure helps the coronavirus latch onto cells that it can invade. Once a virus enters the human body through the eyes, mouth, or nose, it looks for cells with its favorite doorways, proteins called receptors. If the virus finds a compatible receptor, it can invade and start replicating itself. For SARS-CoV-2, that receptor is found in lung cells and the gut. To gain access to the cell, the virus binds to the receptor. Once inside, the genetic material of the virus or RNA is released. The infected cell reads the RNA and begins making proteins that will keep the immune system at bay. As the infection progresses, these new proteins form copies of the virus. New copies of the virus are assembled and carried to the outer edges of the cell, then go on to infect other host cells. Coronavirus affects the body. How? Typically, it affects the respiratory system, causing symptoms such as coughing and shortness of breath. Some people, including older adults, are at risk of severe illness from these viruses. This is a diagram of the respiratory system. Coughing expels mucus, microbes, and foreign particles from the respiratory tract, protecting the lungs from infection and inflammation. breathing problem occurs when enough air is not available. Chest feels very tight, breathless, or person experiences suffocation. Early symptoms include acute respiratory distress syndrome leading to severe breathing difficulties. The immune system identifies and responds to coronavirus early by sending special proteins or antibodies to fight the infection. The immune response to the infection has side effects for the body, including fever. During an infection, white blood cells release pyrogens, a substance that causes fever. A temperature of greater than 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit form an oral thermometer indicates fever. Other symptoms occur alongside a fever include breathlessness, cough, muscle pain, sore throat, headache, chills, new loss of taste or smell. These symptoms usually last until the body fights off the coronavirus. Sometimes symptoms might not show up straight away. For example, people with COVID-19 may get symptoms 2 to 14 days after infection. The complications of coronavirus, it can have severe complications like pneumonia. Pneumonia occurs if the virus causes infection of one or both lungs. The tiny air sacs inside the lungs can fill with fluid or pus, making it harder to breathe. Organs damaged by coronavirus. Coronavirus also can damage liver, heart, or kidneys. In some people, it will affect the blood and the immune system. For example, COVID-19 can cause heart, renal, or multiple organ failure, resulting in death. Some people are more at risk of severe complications than others. The risk can increase for those with an underlying health condition like serious heart conditions such as heart failure, coronary arteries disease, or cardiomyopathy, kidney disease, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, obesity, which occurs in people with a body mass index of 30 or higher, sickle cell disease, a weakened immune system from a solid organ transplant, type 2 diabetes. Older adults are also at risk of severe illness from coronavirus. Other groups at risk include people with HIV, pregnant women, people with asthma. This is a map showing daily new confirmed COVID-19 deaths recorded on August 8, 2020. This map clearly shows the countries, Asiatic countries, Northern America, and Southern America, Western countries have high daily new confirmed COVID deaths. Impact on health. Immediate but general impact of coronavirus include cough, fever, body aches, sore throat, headache, inflammation. Excessive inflammation can cause collateral damage throughout the body, pneumonia, shortness of breath, and difficulty in breathing. Severe impacts, the immune system spirals out of control and cause damage throughout the body, leading to septic shock. When the blood pressure drops to dangerously low levels and organs stop working properly or fail completely. Acute respiratory distress syndrome caused by widespread inflammation in the lungs stops the body getting enough oxygen it needs to survive. It can stop the kidneys from cleaning the blood and damage the lining of intestines. If the immune system cannot get on top of the virus, then it will eventually spread to every corner of the body where it can cause even more damage. But eventually, the damage can reach fatal levels at which organs can no longer keep the body alive. Long-term effects. Respiratory infections can damage lungs. Failure or dysfunction of other organs like heart, kidney, and brain. Mental health tissues like post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and depression. Combination of physical impairment, cognitive impairment, and psychiatric impairment. Physical impairment can occur, include weakness and malfunction. Cognitive impairment include decreased memory, decreased attention, and decreased mental sharpness or ability to solve problems. COVID-19 might affect the brainstem. Neurological abnormalities in COVID-19 patients, including mild symptoms like headache, loss of smell, which is also called as anosmia, and tingling sensations, are more severe outcomes like aphasia, strokes, and seizures. Region-wise total confirmed COVID cases are seen in this diagram, which recorded in the world from January 2020. This graph clearly indicates highest recorded cases were seen in Asia, excluding China, followed by North America, by South America, then Oceania, as well as Africa. And at the end, we can see China also. Confirmed COVID death cases per million are shown in this map, recorded on 8 August 2020. This map clearly indicates the developed countries, including North America, Canada, along with the European countries, as well as South Africa, South America, and the northwestern part of South Africa, along with Australia, have confirmed cases of deaths per million people on a larger level. This daily new confirmed COVID deaths recorded up till 8th August is a diagram showing India's progression from start till end in Asia. You can see from this diagram that the diagram line or trend is increasing from 10 to above 100. To understand in reality the actual occurrence of COVID cases in the world, we have to look into some other associated illnesses as well, including pneumonia. Now this map shows the death rates from pneumonia for 2017 per 1 lakh people. African countries, South America, as well as Asian countries, Southeast Asian countries record larger death rates caused by pneumonia. This map shows diabetic prevalence 2017. It's exactly similar to the ones that we saw of the occurrence of COVID-19 in 2020. Diabetes prevail mostly in the developed countries as well as in the developing countries, but the proportion is quite large in specific South African countries, India, as well as the Southeast Asian countries and Mexico, plus the USA. Other associated factors that can have an impact on COVID patients is the proportion of hospital beds per 1,000 people. This map is recorded for 2018 of the entire world. The European countries have more proportion of hospital beds per 1,000 people. On the contrary, Asian countries and African countries, so-called as the developing regions of the world, have less proportion of hospital beds per 1,000 people. This map shows the restrictions on internal movement during the COVID 2020 pandemics as recorded on August. Complete restricted movement is seen in the Australian continent, Asian continent, as well as South and North America. Medical doctors per 1,000 people for the year 2016 also indicate the same status. Australia, the European countries, North American continent, as well as the southern countries of South America have high proportion of medical doctors per 1,000 people. The share of population with basic hand washing facilities on premises for 2017 also indicate the availability in India as well as the European countries, plus some sections of the America, South America, as well as the Southeast Asian countries. Safely managed drinking water is available in North American region, South American southern countries, as well as the European and the Northwest European regions. Cancellation of public events during COVID-19 pandemic on August 10, 2020 is seen most parts of the world, excluding some African regions. Restrictions on public gathering due to COVID pandemics on 10th August is also similar as like the ones which we saw in the previous map. Same way, public transport closures during the COVID-19 pandemics on August has been recorded. Schools closures also were seen in most of the continents, including North America, South America, Asia, Europe, as well as Australia. The proportion of fruit consumption per capita is large in South African countries as well as in Australia, North and South America, and China to some extent. Vegetable consumption is also more as per the 2019 per capita in the countries including continents of North America, South America, Australia, and it's mostly comparatively larger in the European countries. With this, we move on to the components of effects of wearing face mask and other preventive measures. On an average, wearing face masks can lead to sight mess, restrict airflow, cause glasses to fog, plus foster a false sense of security, force to inadvertently draw closer during conversations, cause skin irritations. Hand sanitizers also has its effects, include increased risk of eczema. Some might cause resistance to antibiotics. Some can cause skin irritation. It leads to alcoholic poisoning. Some affect immune systems and some cause skin disorder. The process of boosting immunity during the corona pandemics has increased on a large scale. Immune system defends a living organism against disease-causing microorganisms. This can be boosted by high diet, fruits and vegetables, exercising regularly, maintaining healthy weight, adequate sleep, steps to avoid infection like wash hands frequently, cooking meat thoroughly, minimize stress, increase immunity healthy way by consuming vitamin C and D. Excessive intake of vitamin C during the corona pandemics as an element of increasing immunity can also lead to following side effects, though consuming too much vitamin C is not threatening. It includes abdominal pain, cramps, diarrhea, headaches, nausea, vomiting, sleeping problem. People with hemotherapy in danger of vitamin C overdose. This condition causes body to store excessive amounts of iron, which is exacerbated by taking too many vitamin C. This condition can lead to body tissue damage. Excessive intake of vitamin D can lead to elevated blood levels, blood calcium levels, nausea, vomiting, poor appetite, stomach pain, constipation or diarrhea, bone loss, kidney failure. Impact of corona pandemics on primary health care. It has a severe impact on expectant parents, cancelled doctors' appointments, missed vaccines could lead to other outbreaks, postponement of surgeries, shortage of PPT equipments, scarcity of trained nurses and doctors, shortage of regular medicines, physical and mental exhaustion of the healthcare workforce. Also, some hospitals worn out from the infrastructure. Preventive measures to take during coronavirus pandemics include social distancing, hand washing, and other preventive measures. Social distancing, keeping a distance of 1 meter in shops, markets, public transportations. Similarly, hand washing before touching face, eyes, mouth, before eating, after toilet use. Self-isolation or home quarantine after detection of corona positive, as well as other measures, wearing masks, self-isolation, surface cleaning. COVID-19 ways to reduce risk include clean your hands often, cough or sneeze, not on your hands but somewhere else, avoid touching eyes, nose, mouth, limit social gatherings and time spent in crowded places, avoid close contact with someone who is extremely sick, clean and disinfectant frequently touched objects and surfaces. Keeping distance, important to keep a distance of at least 1 meter from each other to limit the spread of coronavirus. Its transmission can be seen through objects and surfaces, lift buttons, laptop mouse, digital devices, doorknobs, tissues, pens. Also, if we touch somebody contaminated or anything contaminated and then touch one's face or somebody else's face, that both might fall ill. Facts about coronavirus: it spreads primarily from person to person, merely spreads from person to person, and it also can be left on objects and surfaces. And some of the ways of reducing this risk include cleaning hands, using hand sanitizers, antioxidant agents, as well as wearing masks, social distancing. Most importantly, to take a precautionary measure, frequently cleaning touch objects is one of the best ways to prevent coronavirus transmission. Regularly clean the frequently touched objects and surfaces so that the virus does not spread on a fast scale. And this cleaning should be done with detergent, then disinfectant with 0.1% diluted bleach or an alcohol-based disinfectant. Ways of protecting oneself against corona-19. Wash your hands frequently, cover coughs and sneezes, avoid touching face, avoid crowded places, limit time in enclosed places, keep a distance of at least 1 meter from others regularly, frequently touched objects and surfaces should be disinfected, isolate oneself from others if feeling unwell, and seek care if needed. And so, finally, at the end of this lecture, corona pandemic still exists. Fight against COVID is far from over. The pandemic hasn't ended yet. And until there is an effective vaccine or treatment, everyone remain at risk of COVID-19. So stay safe, stay at home, and stay at a distance measures. These are the following references. Some of the other web resources of coronavirus can be seen here. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Thank you, ma'am, for your excellent and valuable speech. Now the session is open for discussion. If any queries or any question, please raise your hand. Hello. If any questions or any queries, please raise your hand. I think no one can any queries, ma'am. Your excellent speech is very useful, and they all are understand what is the importance of the pandemic period or what is the importance of this COVID-19. So thank you very much, ma'am. Now, may I request to Dr. Samadhan Shinde sir to propose vote of thanks to Dr. Samadhan.
Hello. Hello. There is one question of Dr. B.S. Nagnavri, sir. Please ask, sir, your question. Please unmute your phone, sir. Hello.
हॅलो.
हा, डॉक्टर नागनावरे.
येतोय का आवाज? आवाज येतोय ना?
हो, येतोय सर.
हॅलो. तर माझा प्रश्न असा आहे की सध्या प्रत्येक देशामध्ये या कोरोनावरती वॅक्सिन तयार करायचं चालू आहे. तर ह्या ज्या स्टेजेस काय आहेत त्या सांगता येतील?
मॅडम. हॅलो मॅम.
हॅलो.
ठीक आहे, येतोय आवाज.
ऍक्च्युली कोरोना व्हायरस वरती बऱ्याच देशांमध्ये वॅक्सिन्स करायचं चालू आहे, पण त्याचं टेस्टिंग जोपर्यंत होत नाही तोपर्यंत वॅक्सिनचा उपकरण किंवा उपयोग आपल्याला समजता येणार नाही. आणि सगळ्यात महत्त्वाची, सध्या कोरोना व्हायरसचे जे केमिकल कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्स आहेत ते काही डिटेक्शन्स मध्ये, काही लॅबोरेटरी एक्सपेरिमेंट्स मध्ये एक येतात, काही याच्यामध्ये वेगळ्या ठिकाणांमध्ये वेगळे येतात. त्यामुळे ऍक्च्युअल युनॅनिमसली युटिलिटी नाहीये की कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्स कुठले आहेत, कसे आहेत. आणि त्यामुळे जोपर्यंत केमिकल कंपोजिशन्सच्या कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्स वरती युनॅनिमसली येत नाही तोपर्यंत वॅक्सिन्सचं टेस्टिंग सध्या ॲनिमल्स वरती करणं चालू आहे, पण ते माणसांवरती सुद्धा केलं जाऊ शकतं. पण केमिकल कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्स आता आपण अंदाज बांधू शकतो आता काय आहेत, कसे आहेत, पण ते खात्रीपूर्वक सांगता येणार नाही आपल्याला की असंच असू शकतं. ते परत जसं अँटीबॉडीज आपण घेतो किंवा अँटीबायोटिक्स आपण घेतो त्यांनी आपण आपली इम्युनिटी वाढवतो, तसंच ते व्हायरसेस सुद्धा स्वतःला डिफेंड करण्यासाठी त्यांची इम्युनिटी सुद्धा वाढवत जातात. आणि त्यामुळे कम्प्लीट माहिती होणं आणि परत आपल्याला वॅक्सिन्सच्या संदर्भात कळणं ह्याला थोडा वेळ लागेल. पण कामं चालू आहेत, लॅबोरेटरी एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन चालू आहेत आणि त्यामुळे असं होऊ शकतंय शांतपणे, पण त्याला थोडा वेळ लागेल. वॅक्सिन्स येतील पण वेळ लागेल थोडा, आणि तोपर्यंत आपल्याला काळजी घ्यायला लागेल.
थँक्यू.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello. There are one another question. Netaji Suryavanshi sir. Suryavanshi sir, please ask your questions. Please unmute your phone.
रशियानं मॅडम आज ते व्हॅक्सिन लॉन्च केलेली आहे.
हो, लॉन्च
त्याच्याबद्दल काय मत आहे मॅडम?
लॉन्च केलेली आहे, पण ती टेस्टिंग पण चालू आहे. टेस्टिंग चालू आहे आणि लॉन्च केलेली आहे, पण तरी ऍक्च्युअल इनटेक किंवा काय म्हणायचं आपण, ऍक्च्युअल ते प्रयोग करणं आणि त्याचा उपयोग होणं आणि तिसरी गोष्ट लोकांपर्यंत येणं, त्याला थोडा कालखंड जाणार आहे.
अच्छा 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 अच्छा. ओके मॅम, थँक्स.
ओके, थँक्यू.
सगळ्यात महत्वाचं त्या सगळ्यांना परवडेल असं किंवा कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव्ह पण ते व्हायला पाहिजे. आता सध्या इमिजिएट लॉन्च झालेलं असल्यामुळे त्याची कॉस्ट जास्त असणार आणि त्यामुळे सगळ्यांना अवेलेबल असेलच असं नाही, पण तोपर्यंत त्याचे रिॲक्शन्स दिल्यानंतर, वॅक्सिन्स दिल्यानंतर किंवा औषध दिल्यानंतर त्याचे रिॲक्शन्स कडे सुद्धा सगळ्यांना तितकंच महत्वाचं लक्ष द्यायला लागणार आहे. रिॲक्शन काय होते, कशी होते आणि किती एक्सटेंड पर्यंत त्याची रिॲक्शन येते. ज्यांना दिलेला आहे त्यांना किंवा ज्यांना व्हायरस ऑलरेडी आहे त्यांच्यामध्ये दिल्यानंतर इम्युनिटी सिस्टम वाढवली असेल त्या पेशंट्सची, त्याच्यावरनं वॅक्सिन्सचा उपयोग किती प्रमाणात होतो हे सुद्धा अजून टेस्ट करणं गरजेचं आहे किंवा टेस्ट होईल. ते लॉन्च झालेली आहे वॅक्सिन, पण टेस्टिंग गॅरंटीड, त्याची टेस्टिंग होणं आणि त्याचे इम्पॅक्ट किंवा त्याचे परिणाम दिल्यानंतर काय होतील हे सुद्धा आपल्याला बघावं लागेल. त्यामुळे अजून तेवढं इम्पॅक्टचं टेस्टिंग झालेलं नाहीये. लॉन्च झालेली आहे, पण किती प्रमाणामध्ये त्याचा इफेक्ट होणार आहे हे सुद्धा आपल्याला तेवढ्याच महत्वाचं शांतपणे थांबून बघावं लागणार आहे.
Okay. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
Now, may I request Dr. Samadhan Shinde sir to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Jawan sir. Good afternoon, all of dignitaries and participants. Today we are meet here for the online national webinar on impact of COVID on human health in pandemic period. I am respectful thanks to Professor A.S. Jadhav, Principal of Devkiba Mansingh Chauhan College, Commerce and Science, Sileva. He has shared a valuable keynote addresses of today's webinar. Thank you, sir. Now I would like special thanks to Dr. Dhanasri Shinde ma'am, Department of Geography, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Ma'am expressed his view on how to maintain human health in COVID-19 pandemic period. Once again, thank you, ma'am, for your valuable and thoughtful speech. My special thanks goes to our dynamic and inspiring principal, Dr. Rajmani Sahib, for his valuable inaugural speech about today's national webinar. Thank you, sir. I sincerely thanks to Dr. G.B. Kalyansity, sir, IQSC coordinator. He has helped us to collaboration of IQSC and Department of Geography. Thank you, sir. I am thankful to Dr. R.R. Garge, convener of today's national webinar. I am thankful to organize committee, Professor S.A. Patil, Dr. S.R. Sawant, Vice Principal of our college. I am thankful Dr. Vijay Kumar Jawan for his good anchoring and Dr. Praveen Talekar, Organized Secretary of today's national webinar. And I am thankful to Mahesh Gaikwad, librarian, for his good technical support. I am also thankful who are help us directly and indirectly, directly and indirectly to all dignitaries and participants. Thank you once again and all of you. Thank you. Thank you, Jawan sir.
Thank you, sir. The entire participant to fill the feedback form for e-certificate, which is given on your personal email ID. E-certificate will send you after 15th August on your personal email ID. With permission of President of today's webinar, I am declare that the webinar is over. Thank you one and all.
तळेकर सर बोला तुम्ही काय बोला तळेकर सर